enthusiastic hockey crowd in all of our country than right here in the Coliseum in Quebec City every time we come here, and particularly tonight for the big Canada-Russia series. And we're up in the stands to get some reactions from some of the fans on hand. And could I get your name?
Lynn Lavoie.
And what do you think of the hockey game so far, Lynn?
I enjoy really much the two first periods, and here the tension is really hard, but it will be tough for the both teams. And I hope the Russian will win the series.
You hope the Russians will win the series?
Yeah, because this is my own opinion.
I see. Sir?
I think it's a good game so far. I think the Canadians are in far better conditions, physical conditions, than 2 years ago. Will be able to hold their breath until the end of the series. This I hope, and the penalties also, I'm afraid. I think Spears took 2 penalties, very costly penalties, and it's a tough game, but I don't think that you should push it too hard, so that you're in the box and the team is not complete on the ice. I think this is a great point for that the coach will have to watch.
Thank you very much. Let's go down a row here, and could I have your name, sir?
Jacques Perrault.
Jacques, how do you feel it's going for Canada? Do you like our chances?
Well, not too good up to now. I think if our boys stay on the ice, we might have a chance. But if they keep taking penalties, this will be it.
Is this Mrs. Perrault here?
Yes.
Mrs. Perrault, how are you enjoying the game?
I'm enjoying it very much. It's one of the most exciting games that I've ever attended. And I have great confidence in Team Canada. Both teams are working very hard, but I'm sure that we're going to come out on top.
I want to say something for your great city. I've never seen such enthusiastic hockey fans.
Well, I agree with that. There is a bit of tension, of course. I don't think many of us are going to sleep tonight, but that doesn't matter. It's worth it.
Thank you very much. That's typical of the kind of enthusiasm for this big game number 1 of the Summit Series. Now back to Don Chevrier.
And Al, you're absolutely right. These fans here in Quebec City are very knowledgeable and just tremendously enthusiastic, as we saw right from the introductions of the players at the beginning of the game. To recap the second period for you, after Mackenzie put Canada on top in the first, the Soviet team tied it up, Lutchenko scoring, then Bobby Hull on a power play made it 2-1 for Canada, and then penalties hurt the Team Canada club, with Harlamov and Petrov both scoring on power plays, while Paul Schmier took very aggressive penalties in the penalty box. And so after 2 periods of play, the score is the Soviet Union 3 and Team Canada 2. Just about set now for play-by-play in the third period. So let's go up to Johnny Esau and Howie Meeker.
All right, Don. Well, the sentiment for Canada is going to be Andre Lacroix, Petrov for the Soviet Union as we get the third period underway. It's a 3-2 hockey game, and the clock will show 9:55 right now because they'll play the third period in 2 10-minute periods according to international rules. Vasiliev, number 6, inside his own zone. As the Soviets with a 3-2 lead come rolling out. Mihailov going right in, and he overskated the puck. Had nobody to beat. He had Jerry Cheevers coming out. Everybody's overskating the puck. That ice must be very wet down there, and as a result, they can't drag that puck with them. Here's a shot from the corner. It's taken now by Bobby Hull. Over to Andre Lacroix, and he overskates it. The ice is simply wet and sticky. Here goes a shot that does not get off a stick. There was Harlamov, who was not even going to try to slap it. He was going to try a wrist shot, and even that didn't get off his stick.
Well, the Zamboni, when they flood the ice, goes through that area about 5 times. And unless it freezes, there's all kinds of water left in that one spot. And that's what happened there. Just unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, I guess if I'm Team Canada, I gotta like that, because what's happened there is nobody's going to get any shots on goal on you. Now, Bobby Hull, one of the Team Canada coaches, or assistant coach of Billy Harris, has gone down and asked them to come out with some squeegees or shovels and get that out of there. Now, what they should have done...
No,
I
wasn't doing it at the right time.
No, I noticed now that even as the helper comes out, even as he put the shovel down inside the Soviet end, I noticed that water came up onto that shovel, so it's partly wet all over and not just down in the Canadian end. You know, Billy Harris' theory is that there are other things in life than hockey, but as a way of life, hockey is pretty hard to beat. And this was some of the preaching that he was doing to the players as they came to camp. And you can imagine he's doing this to 10, 12, 15-year veterans. He's telling rookies the same thing and trying to sell that message He challenges his players to do things. I don't order them to do things. I challenge them. He said, challenge them to get in shape. You challenge them to reach certain goals. You challenge them to report to camp in certain conditions. And he said more than 50% arrived in better shape than he had possibly hoped for. He's always talked of hockey in terms of diplomacy instead of victory, but of course he doesn't disagree that winning is important. He would like to accomplish more than just win. Maybe his ideals are set too hard. At any rate, Billy Harris, pretty fine kind of a guy to have in hockey, and the contribution he has made to Team Canada 74, I think, has just been superb. They could not have made a better choice, and the way that they have handled themselves so far has been in direct support of Billy Harris and this team. Good crowd, big jam-packed crowd. At 6:30 they open the doors. The official is getting cheers for taking the shovel off. That's about the only time they cheer officials. But the players are skating around, just letting the ice dry a little bit. All the Russians left the bench to go out and skate. I don't know whether they were trying to do it to psych Canada or not, but in the last 5 minutes, just before they left the ice, just before 8 o'clock in the warm-up, the Soviets, from their own blue line to their end zone, did stops and starts for about 2 minutes. Now, either they're in fantastic shape or they're trying to psych the Canadians. At any rate, it looked pretty good. Well, we're back underway again with 9:15 remaining in the first half of the third period. And for Canada, it's Pat Stapleton. At the line, Maltsev takes it away from him, and Andre Lacroix brings it out with Johnny McKenzie, but he couldn't get that pass across. Back inside the Canadian zone, Bobby Hull pokes it out. Hull to McKenzie, McKenzie to Hull. And they're still having trouble controlling that puck. That ice is still wet. Very jam-packed crowd. It's very humid in here. That's, Maltsev, you don't see him do that very often. Slipped and fell. Lost his balance completely. Now we have Bobby Hull winding up inside his own zone with Whitey Stapleton. Back over the center on the right side to Hull, trying to get him to get his shot away. There it is, but it was blocked. The puck was rolling, couldn't get a good piece of it. Long shot down the ice, it's right on goal. And it's shot out ahead here to Tremblay. Tremblay to Lacroix. Lacroix back to Johnny McKenzie. And McKenzie can't get a play. Oh, Whitey Stapleton turns inside his own zone. Head to Lacroix with Hull, looking for Hull on the left wing. The pass went there, but Hull had turned to come the other way. 3-2 hockey game in favor of the Soviets. Game number 1 in the series. Anison, number 22, up to center. This kid can fly. Here's a shot, and Cheevers turned it aside. Into the corner, Regine Houle. Round the boards to Lebedev. Lebedev stopped by Mark Tardif, and it's cleared down the ice. This goes all the way, and the ice looks pretty good now because that slid pretty quickly. Billy Harris, when he was coaching in Sweden, played the Soviets 3 times, and he lost 1 in the last minute and tied the other 2. Serge Bernier. Armor Ray Gino and Mark Tardif the forward line. Carl Schmier fighting for the puck inside his own zone. Knocked the helmet off number 24, Bodnov. Ahead here to Paul Schmier. Schmier, number 18, waiting. And he decides to carry it up on the right side. It's taken, going right in for it. Here goes Ray Gino in the corner, trying to get Bernier set. And the puck does not come across. Rick Smith, number 17, at the line. There's Serge Bernier bumping into Luchenko and knocked him down. Oh, they take the swipe at a player, but the player goes by him. Kuznetsov shot is wide, looking for the rebound, but Jerry Cheevers clears. Out in front to Lebedev, to Bodnov, out in front. Oh, and the shot by Kuznetsov was wide of the target. Here's Lebedev, and the Russians are in control now in this third period. Lebedev to Bodnov, but sliding in front of it was Paul Schmier. Schmier back of his own net to Serge Bernier. Bernier to Schmier. And they tie it up along the boards and finally get a whistle on the play. Schmier is a different hockey player in this third period, Howie.
He certainly is. He had 2 opportunities to make illegal checks, and he made real good, solid checks. I believe Billy Harris told them, look at fellas, don't vacate our defensive zone too soon, because all the time that the Russians had 3 attackers in there, he had 5 red jerseys in behind the face-off circles, and that's what they're going to have to do and get their breaks from there.
There's a loose puck in front of the net, and Cheevers makes a great save, and they finally clear it to the blue line. Here's a shot. Picked off now by Mike Walton. Walton with Henderson and McGregor going in over the line, and McGregor had it knocked off of his stick. Back come the Soviets at center ice. Cleared off on the wing. Back after it is Vasiliev. 3-2 for the Soviets. Vasiliev in that long lead pass to Harmelov at center. With Vasiliev, the forward. He gets away from Henderson, and the puck is poke-checked back to Henderson. Henderson off the boards to Lee. Lee has trouble controlling it. Henderson has it. Puts it right on the Vasiliev stick, and then he takes it away. And Henderson goes down. Now Lee takes a senseless run on a hockey player. Henderson can't get out. It's taken out by Mike Walton. One man back. Walton trying to get by Gusev. Gusev pulls him down, but play carries right on. Back come the Soviets, led here by Petrov. Petrov at the line, a drop pass for Harlemov. Shoots! Oh, and a great save by Jerry Cheevers. The most shot-at goalkeeper in all major hockey last winter with the Cleveland Crusaders was Cheevers. He faced 2,000 of them, maybe some like this.
Just a great save, and Cheevers has made 2 in a row just like this.
Puck bounced off the stick of Sigankov, and then he was given a wrap there by Mahavlich. Cheevers has to come out to clear to Mahavlich. Ray Stapleton finally dumps it down the ice, and it rolls all the way into Soviet territory, and is called back for icing. I might point out, you mentioned curved sticks earlier. International hockey only allows a half-inch curve. The CHA has the same rule, but the WHA allows an 1.25 inch curve on the stick. And that's the rule that they have adopted for this series.
Well, I'd hate to measure some of them out there.
Here comes Stapleton trying to break out from the face-off. Puck slides ahead to Liapkin. And it's at the line, Gordie Howe. He's been out for a rest. He's out there now with Ralph Backstrom and Frank Mahavlich. Back come Kapustin. And he is stopped by J.C. Tremblay. Here's Howe, the Backstrom. Backstrom off the left side. Over there to J.C. Tremblay, and Tremblay couldn't get it in. Back after it is Stapleton. Stapleton fires it all the way down to Soviet territory, and we have 4:32 remaining in the first half of this period. 3-2 for the Soviets. A long pass to Kapustin. Kapustin being steered off there by J.C. Tremblay, and he fires it off the boards to Mahavlich. Mahavlich can't get it out. Puts it on the stick of Kapustin over to Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe. Left wing pass to Mahavlich. Mahavlich racing into the corner. Mahavlich around the boards, lost the puck. Sigankov. The puck hit his stick and bounced all the way out to J.C. Tremblay at center. He was wrapped there by Kapustin. Tremblay was down, and there's a hooking penalty being called. Sergei Kapustin, I might tell you, if there's a hockey player who's got a hot streak going, it's Kapustin. He came into this game. He has scored 13 goals in the last 16 games he's played.
Well, he has that type of shot. Team Canada, I think now are going on hardened experience. Certainly they haven't very much left physically. Here's the penalty coming up. As long as they don't get 2 men caught or send 2 men in too deep, they can maybe tie this hockey game, and there's one chance coming up right now.
Vasiliev is hit there by Bobby Hull, who's back out on the point on the power play. So we have Schmier starting it away with Bobby Hull. With Lacroix, Paul Henderson, and Johnny McKenzie. Up over that Russian blue line. Hull takes it in, feeds it through in a beautiful fake. It's over to Andre Lacroix. Lacroix loses it to Mihailov. It's back to Bobby Hull. Hull shoots. Oh, and a great save there by Tretiak. Henderson fires it up into the crowd and out of play. Interesting to note here that Big Yakashev is not dressed in this third period. He's got a groin injury, and that's a big loss to them because he's a good one. Now we have Paul Smear at the line for Canada, carrying it into the corner, looking for that point pass. Push it right out in front to shoot. Oh, and a great save there off Henderson. Around the back of the net, Vasiliev, taken by McKenzie. McKenzie back over to Paul Smear. He shoots right in front, and he tried to deflect it in. It's intercepted now by Petrov with a minute left in the penalty, and Petrov flips it high in the air and down into Canadian territory. 55 seconds left in the penalty. Bobby Hull feeds it ahead to Paul Henderson with Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie going in. McKenzie cutting in the short side. Right out in front. Oh, and Andre Leclerc misses. Here comes Jerry Cheevers out to the blue line to stop the shot, to feed the forward pass, to keep the power play going. Oh, but it's knocked off of Bobby Hull's stick. Now we come up again. It's Mark Chart at number 22. He has it poke checked away from him by Maltsev. Maltsev shoots. Oh, and a split save by the goalkeeper, Jerry Cheevers. Then Schmier takes a run at Shadwin. 17 seconds left in the penalty. Johnny McKenzie across the ice here to Serge Bernier. Having trouble getting the power play started now. Bad pass back to Bobby Hull. Hull around to Serge Bernier. And we have the teams back at full strength. Serge Bernier at center ice. Over to Reggie Newell. Who'll break in, trying to get it right in front of it. He shoots. Oh, a great save by the goalkeeper, Tretjak. What a move by Uhl.
Hey, he went around that Russian defenseman. Just take a look at this like he was tied on. Just a great move. Great pass by Bernier. Now look at here. Look at the Russian defenseman. Never made an effort to go and get him. Watch him cut in here, forcing Tretjak to make a great save.
Uhl, he tried to pull Tretjak, and instead of pulling all the way to make him come, he gave him the half pull and then tried to go back to the short side. Minute 45 left in this first half of the third period. There's a slap shot that just wide of the ball. It bounced loose. Oh, right over the top. As Regine Uhl had a great chance on the rebound. Uhl is playing fine hockey out there. It's taken at the line, and it's finally kept in, and it rolls out. Here's Luchenko letting a slap shot go, but it was a roller. Tremblay off the board, stopped by Aneeson. Gets it again, kicks it ahead. Tremblay. Oh, he tried to get it up there to Cardiff. Cardiff over to Tremblay. They're inside the Russian zone. He keeps it in. Canadians have three men right out for the shoot. Eugene Hull, and Tretjak was down. Tretjak shakes his head in disbelief. He didn't know he'd made the stop.
Just great pursuit here by the Team Canada players. Look at this save. And Hull, great shape. Certainly working his hardest.
The French, they call that line the French selection. And obviously very popular here, and they're going to be very, very popular all over because that's a great line. Petrov, number 16, comes to center. Mike Walton gets the draw, takes it over to Mike Walton in front of the net, trying to get a shot away. There's McGregor, shoots! Oh! And Tretjak did not see it. Back come the Soviets at center ice. Mihailov reaches forward to block the shot. And is taken now by Henderson. Henderson coming up now with Walton. One man back. Can he get it across? No, it hit a broken stick. Piece of a broken stick lying on the ice. Henderson still has it. Here it is right on the front. He shoots. Oh, and Tretjak makes another save. I can't believe it.
Henderson right on the puck. Watch the pass to McGregor, and McGregor's home free and tries to get it up high over Tretjak, and he still makes the save. The rebound would not go to Walton. Look at here. Look at him post in home free. Nobody there. Look at three Russians in the corner. A little bit of pressure, and they break down as well.
There's another look at it, and Tretjak is either calling time for a breather by telling the official there's something wrong with his pad. At any rate, it's very smart if he is doing that because the Canadians were flying. Now it's going to be Backstrom, Hull, Mahovlich, Paul Smear. And finally, Rick Smith, who was late getting out. There's a shot right to the side of the net by Gordie Howe. Howe reaching for it, held in. Long bouncing shot. Here's a race for that puck. And Kapustin comes diving over. He goes sliding right into the net as he went over top of Rick Smith. And then the goalkeeper, Cheevers, came out to grab it to make sure it didn't go astray. Ralph Backstrom is leading so far. He's won 67% of all his face-offs. And right behind him is Mike Walton, who's won 57%. Serge Bernier has won 80% of his face-offs.
Just an unbelievable hockey game for being the first one in an 8-game series. You think it was the 7th and final game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Just a tremendous game.
Here's Gordie Howe reaching through that maze of legs to pull that puck out. Gives it to Whitey Stapleton. Stapleton ahead on the wing to Mahovlich. Couldn't control it. Now he has it back to Howe at center. Gordie Howe bumps it ahead there to Backstrom. Backstrom trying to stay on side, was off balance. J.C. Tremblay. Stapleton to Howe. Back over to Backstrom. Over to Mahovlich. Good passing combination. Right over here to Howe in front. He was called as the buzzer sounded to end the first 10 minutes of the third period. So now that they'll change ends.
Because of the rules of the International Ice Hockey Federation, both teams will now exchange their respective ends.
And with the score, the Soviets 3, Canada 2, this is Game 1 from Quebec City.
Это банк, где люди составляют разницу.
Yeah, well, I've been wearing it all along, but they haven't got a thing, so I'll put it back in again.
Three to 2. Soviets over Canada. Lacroix and Shadrin in for the face-off. Back over to Maltsev as he goes in. Right from that left side, his shot. Oh, and a fine save by Jerry Cheevers. What a glove hand stop that was. Here's a look at that play again as you see Cheevers reaching for that top left-hand goalkeeper. The all-star goalie, formerly with the Boston Bruin Ironmen. And we almost had that break-in pass there for Bobby Hull. That's the one they've been trying to set up for him. J.C. Tremblay, back of his own net with Matt Stapleton. Stapleton leaves it for Hull. Now they're trying to get him wound up. He gets by Anisin. Gets by 2. Out to center ice. Down the right wing. Trying to get by Luchenko. Gets by around the back of the net, and then he has it again. Here's Bobby Hull right out in front. After all that work. Nobody there to get the shot away. Here's Johnny McKenzie. Over on the left side to Hull. Will he get a shot off the boards? He does! Oh, and Chechak made the save. Oh, that's the kind he waits for.
When he comes out of his own zone there, Johnny, he just flew by 2 Russians like, like they're tied on. When he gets under a full head of steam, I guess there's nobody in hockey anywhere can touch him.
Well, he's certainly one of the most electrifying players of all time. He was 4th in scoring, 2nd in goal scoring. He ranked 3rd as the most sportsmanlike player in the WHA. He was an all-star, 2nd all-time scoring to Gordie Howe with 657 goals. Here he is now with Serge Bernier to Houle behind the net. Houle trying to set it up now. Fires it across, but it hit his skate. Bernier's parked right in front of that goal. Ray Jean Houle right out in front. And it hit a stick and went astray. Routed now by Harlamov. Harlamov cutting over on the right side. He loses his balance. It's taken there now by Cardiff, but he was tripped. Play carries right on. Inside goes Mihailov, who shot. And that was blocked there by Jerry Cheevers. Around the back of the net, Cheevers takes a look at it because they didn't seem to be able to control it. It's still lost back of the net. Here comes Tardif with it. Mark Tardif, number 22. Around to Ricky Lee. Canadians having trouble getting started. Lee to Tardif. Tardif's long pass out here to center ice. Over the line, going in is Bernier. He shoots. Oh, and Tretiak dropped him again. Bernier leaning against the board, just shaking his head. He cannot believe it.
Just watch this great shift by Bernier and walks in home free. Look at there. The puck goes with him. Straight it on Tretiak. Makes a pretty good move, too, to try to put it between his legs. And the Soviet goaltender covers up. Hey, it's got to be a goaltender's game, Johnny.
Well, Tretiak has robbed Team Canada now just consistently. Oh, rolling puck went right to him there. Fired off the board, just kept it the line, but it's offside. That was a good call. Good call. Came out a couple of inches, but the linesman was right there to see it. Mike Walton gets the face-off over to Schmier, back to Walton, then over that line, back over to Henderson. Henderson trying to set it up, and it hits his skate. Still has control of it, however, bouncing right out in front of the net. And it's cleared up to the line. Shadrin, number 19, over to Kapustin. Kapustin, number 8, into the corner. With Andre Lacroix, has him all the way. Now it's Henderson. Henderson gets it out. Here's a race for it with Mike Walton. Walton can't get control. Henderson has it, but he has to kick it and lost control in doing so. Now it's Paul Schmier. He stopped at the Soviet line. Maltsev. Maltsev gets away from the check by Henderson and is taken by Paul Schmier. Schmier loses it. Here goes Maltsev. One man back, trying to get set for that shot. He does. And it hit his stick and went wide. Now Bruce McGregor. Ahead to number 18, Paul Schmier. Schmier pokes the puck ahead as they're changing players on the fly. It's Rick Smith with Frank Mahovlich. Long shot goes into the corner. 6:56 remaining. Long shot goes all the way down the ice, and that'll be called back for icing. Two or three things I've noticed that are different in recent years is that the Russians will send 2 or 3 men into a corner that they didn't used to do. They're forechecking like they didn't used to do. And they're icing the puck.
That's
which
right.
they didn't used to do.
That's right. I might mention here that Rick Smith just finished playing 2 great shifts of hockey. That he continues to check like that. He's all right.
Back out to the line. Led up here now by Lebedev, number 11. Lebedev is steered off by Whitey Stapleton, and Mahovlich has it. Mahovlich up with Backstrom. And the rover skates it. Now it's taken by Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe with Backstrom. Works his way in. Backstrom is called offside. Russian linesman made the call, and with the score, the Soviets 3, Canada 2. This is game 1 from Quebec City.
When you take off, don't be leaning into the dive. Stand it up. Move it in.
I coach diving, and one of the ambitions of my divers and myself is to win medals in Olympic Games or international competition. And through the O'Keefe Sports Foundation, this is something that is now, I feel, a possibility.
Carling O'Keefe, is this any way to run a brewery? You bet it is.
Now as they move into it with Petrov up to that Canadian blue line. Johnny McKenzie has his elbow up high. Play carries right on. It's back to McKenzie. McKenzie trying to send it up on that left wing pass. Now to Bobby Hull. Here's Bobby Hull going in over the line. The pass on the right side was offside as Andre Lacroix could not put on the brakes. Andre Lacroix was the leading scorer in the WHA in its initial season. Second behind Mike Walton last season with 31 goals and 80 assists. He's one of the smoothest centers around at 175 pounds, although I think that weight flatters him just a little bit, although he hits like that. 5 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in the hockey game. Soviets leading 3-2. Canadians with Johnny McKenzie and Lacroix keeping it inside. Right in front. Bobby Hull! Andre Lacroix to Bobby Hull.
Here you see the Russians vacating the slot. It's not often where they send two men into the corner, and this is what they do here. And the man at the point did not come back and move into the slot with Bobby Hull. Now just watch. I was sitting here thinking, just give Bobby Hull one shot. You know, we've come on since the first 5 minutes, Johnny. First 5 minutes of the third period, looked like our fellas were really physically beat, dead tired. They've come on real strong in the last 10 minutes of this hockey game and could have had a couple of goals.
3-3 hockey game, and the Canadians, you're right, have had control here in the third period. Here comes Mark Carter racing down that left side. And he gives Sigenkopf a wrap around the head as he goes through. Here's held in by Rick Smith as he and Kapustin fight for it. Now they battle for it. It's taken by Mark Charter. Charter trying to set it up in front. Right out in front. Right back to the blue line to Smear. Smear shoots. That's deflected. To the side of the net. Charter just by the goalpost. And it comes all the way out to center ice. Rick Smith and Paul Smear are back. And Smear is back to make up the play. With Serge Bernier coming in to hold it against the boards. Mark Charter just missed the goalpost by a fraction of an inch.
You know, you just have to have a fantastic pride in the way these fellas are playing. They've reached down to the bottom of the well, found heart, found strength, found that great professional pride they have, and they're trying to win a real good hockey game.
There's the Prime Minister with Doug Fisher, the President of Hockey Canada, and Mr. Rogolsky of the Soviet Union. He keeps looking up at the clock, as all of us are. 4:59 remaining.
Been a great night for Bobby Hull, John.
Think of the ovation when we get to Winnipeg on Saturday for Bobby Hull.
Especially if we happen to win one or two.
McKenzie, Hull and Lacroix. Hull got 2 goals, and that line has been on 2 goals as a complete unit, and Hull got 1 from Walton and Howe. Here's the play. Now at the center ice. Mike Walton trying to reach for it. Taken by Henderson. Henderson is pulled down. It's going to be a penalty. Interesting statistic from our game reporter, Bobby Hull, has made 10 passes, and he's given 99% on his 10 passes. Amazing.
He hasn't missed his target very often. I would kind of think here the crowd called the penalty, and the referee had no intention of making the call. Wish we could see him in our picture, but he was watching the play. Now watch his hand go up after the crowd hollers.
This sounds like Game 8 in Moscow 2 years ago.
This sounds like the greatest entertainment in the world, Johnny. That's what it is. You can't beat this hockey.
Minute 55 left in the penalty as Paul Smear tries to come outside of his own zone. Around the boards to Bobby Hull. A 3-3 hockey game, 4:30 remaining. Now it's Gordie Howe. He fires it across, but it's too high. Soviets are killing this penalty very well. Howe changes hands on the stick and pulls Petrov. Here we go, Hull going in with Gordie Howe. Here's Howe shooting. Oh, one by the goalpost. Back out in front, back to behind the net to Gordie Howe. Which side's he coming out? To Bobby Hull, he shoots. Oh! And Howe almost deflected it in. Back out in front again. And that was intended for Hull, but it cleared down the ice. Back comes Paul Smear. Smear is having trouble controlling it. He holds it there and amazes the legs, but Luchenko clears it down the ice. A minute and 3 seconds left in this penalty. 3:42 left in the game. Here comes Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe at center. The pass to Frank Mahovlich. Mahovlich looking for Hull. There's Hull at the side of the net. Trying to jam it from the short side. Right in front of the feet. Oh, and a great save as the defenseman Luchenko fell in front of it and blocked it. 39 seconds left. Canadians are changing on the fly. Paul Schmier leaves it back there now for Serge Bernier. Bernier overskates it. He's taken back here by Harlamov. Harlamov. And it comes out to center ice. Harlamov still has it, however. 20 seconds left in the penalty. Gusev fires it down into Canadian territory. And I'll tell you, these are two tired hockey clubs right now. 3-3 the score. There will be no overtime if it stays this way. Here comes Serge Bernier. Bernier hits Chadrin. Here goes Whitey Stapleton. Stapleton shoots, but it's called offside. Willie Harris was smart, Howie, in changing him as frequently as he does.
There's no doubt about that. That's been a key maneuver, and I think the experience of the fellas, too. They've I think, reduced the time that they're spending on the ice. They make one or two shots, and then they get off. And this is the only chance they have of maintaining this pace. You know, one of the greatest skills in the game is being able to play close to your top performance under the threat of being hit. Good bodily contact hockey, which we've had here tonight. And it's brought the Russians with their Humpty Dumpty style of play, their smooth passing, really back. And you see them making mistakes that they've never made before.
2 seconds left to go in the penalty. 2:45 left to go in the game. Now the play comes back here to Paul Schmier. Long shot, an easy shot. It's turned aside by Tretiak. Now the play is out to the blue line, and it's offside as Walton dumped it in. And McGregor thought he could sneak it out before the official could see it, but of course the official saw it. Smith to Bruce McGregor. McGregor dumps it in. 2:27 left to go in the hockey game. The question is, will they play Kenny Bartley? Here's McGregor intercepting right out of front. There it is. Oh, and Tretiak grabbed it. Henderson was wide open on the left side, but the puck didn't come off his stick at a good angle, and he couldn't reach it.
Well, when he moved it from his forehand to his backhand to get it over to Henderson, it started to roll, and he just couldn't get it on his stick. Hey, would you believe, would you think it's possible if we do get the winning goal, Henderson?
Well, he got the 3-2, the 4-3, and the 6-5 2 years ago. McGregor's interception.
There you are. He tried to take it to his backhand so he could get it through to...
That'll be an offside if it's Henderson touches it. You know, somebody who has not been given much credit here tonight, and I think is playing a whale of a game, is Paul Schmier. You know, he's a 28-year-old with Cleveland. By the way, he comes from Cutworth, Saskatchewan. Just thought I'd throw that in. Played with Vancouver, the Western League, with Dallas, Chicago, Dallas, Portland, Dallas, and then finally Chicago for 2 years. And now with Cleveland. Now Whitey Stapleton feeds it to Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie loses it, but he got back in a hurry to make sure he couldn't lose it to a Soviet player. Now it's Stapleton ahead to Bobby Hall. J.C. Trombley dumps it out to the line to McKenzie. McKenzie, it's offside. Vasiliev took it in. The Russian player trapped in over the line. Team logo, we've had people wondering where that team logo came from. It's an interesting story. Johnny McKenzie racing down that right side. He got Lacroix in front of the net, and the shot never quite came to him. McKenzie has it again. Out in front, and Bobby Hall was being too well tied up by Liapkin. It's hailed in by Whitey Stapleton. Back out now to Liapkin. Liapkin's long shot turned aside by Jerry Cheevers. 1:33 left to go. Here come the Canadians, led up here now by Lacroix. On the right side of Johnny McKenzie, looking for that drop. Puts it out in front of Lacroix. Couldn't quite get to it. Andre Lacroix feeds it back to Bobby Hall. Hulda Lacroix. Sigankov has it. Sigankov is hit there by Johnny McKenzie. Oh, he got out of the way just in time. Here it is in front of that Soviet zone. The Soviet player lost his glove on the play as he was hit. Here they come up to that line. It's Maltsev. He's out of the play. Back with Johnny McKenzie. He clears out the center with a minute to go. Back out to the blue line. It's Kapustin. Kapustin, and they clear it. Out to the line, but not over. As Whitey Stapleton broke his stick, and he was playing without it. Naturally, goes for a new one. Here we go with Gordie Howe. Out in front, Frank Mahavlich. He shoots. Oh! Missed the open net. Gordie Howe set him up beautifully. Tretiak went down, and Mahavlich shot wide.
I believe he got in a little too close. Now watch this play here. See that two-hander? Howe took the Russian off the puck. Give it to Mahavlich. Made the deep. Got in a little too close. It just caught Tretiak's shoulder and bounced off to the side.
Well, whatever happens, get ready for games 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Johnny, this club can't do anything but get better.
30.
And so many times I've seen the Russians pull away. I thought they were a tough, strong Czech hockey team. They've turned off that puck.
36 seconds left to go in the hockey game. As Ralph Backstrom, the draw comes back over to Mihailov. Mihailov feeds it to center to Petrov. Trying to feed that breakaway pass to Harlamov, but it's no good. Now it's J.C. Tremblay. Back out to Backstrom. Backstrom on the left side. Here goes Mahavlich. Mahavlich has it knocked off of his stick. Back over into Gordie Howe. Howe to Mahavlich. Cleared out to center with 16 seconds to go. Now it's Mahavlich winding up on the right side. Over there to Backstrom. Gordie Howe takes it away from him. Howe carries it inside the zone. With one hand, he knocked it in. 5 seconds to go. And he takes a run at Gusev. And the buzzer goes. It's all over.
Just an unbelievable hockey game.
Down there, mobbing Jerry Cheevers for the game he played. The Russians mobbing Vladislav Tretiak, who made some sensational saves. And the teams in the traditional handshake at center ice, they get a standing ovation from the crowd. Mobbing Vladislav Tretiak, who made some sensational saves. And the teams in the traditional handshake at center ice, they get a standing ovation from the crowd here in the Quebec Coliseum. And it's, I don't know how the panel of judges is going to pick it up. Canada outshot the Soviets 34-28.
Johnny, how lucky are we? We have 7 more like that coming.
The final score, Canada 3 and the Soviets 3. This is game 1 from Quebec City.
Горжусь тем, что я люблю страну. Уверен, что счастье я найду. Да люди, как вы, и люди, как мы, просто люди. Вот он факт.
Я люблю то, как в Канаде растут сбережения. В Торонто-Доминион банке есть много способов сбережений. И потому что проценты так высоки, сбережения растут быстро. И еще дружественные служащие в Торонто-Доминион даже помогут вам избрать такой сберегательный план, который будет наиболее подходящим для вас. Канадцы, вы, наверное, имеете большое удовольствие наблюдать, как растут ваши сбережения в Торонто-Доминион.
Торонто-Доминион.
Это банк, где люди составляют разницу.
Mesdames et messieurs, Jack Cameron, ancien gardien de but de l'équipe olympique canadienne version 1924, va maintenant présenter deux ensembles de la première série de monnaie olympique aux joueurs canadiens et aux joueurs soviétiques, choisis par un panel d'éditorialistes sportifs canadiens et soviétiques comme ayant été le plus utile à son équipe au cours de cette partie. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Cameron, who was the goaltender for the 1924 Canadian Olympic team, will now present two mint-proof sets of Olympic coins to the Canadian and Soviet players selected by a panel of Canadian and Soviet sports writers and broadcasters as being the most valuable players in this game. Pour l'équipe soviétique, for the Soviet national team, le numéro 17, the number 17, Valery Harlamov. Et pour l'équipe Canada 74, and for Team Canada 74, le numéro 16, the number 16, Bobby Hall.
Stars of this game number 1 of the Summit Series, and on my immediate right, the star of the Soviet Union, Valery Harlamov. Valery, congratulations on a great individual goal. I'm wondering, did this Canadian Team 74 surprise you any?
Поздравляю вас, Валерий, с замечательным голом, который вы забили. И что вы можете сказать, чем вас удивила эта новая команда, новая по сравнению с той, что вы встречались в 1972 году? Ну, она, во-первых, удивила тем, что очень корректная команда.
It surprised us because it played correctly. I'm interested also if this team, in his consideration after one game, is better than 72 Canada.
Что можете сказать по первому матчу? Эта команда лучше выглядит, чем предыдущая команда. Но мы прошлую команду мы очень боялись.
We were a little bit scared of the 72 team.
А эта команда лучше нас узнала, поэтому с ней труднее играть.
But this team used to know us better, and therefore it was more difficult to play against them. Do you think that we're going to have all close games like this, Valery?
Как вы думаете, они в дальнейшем будут так же хорошо играть? Я думаю, еще лучше, наверное, будут.
Well, I think they will be playing ever more, ever better. Valery, congratulations again. Best of luck in the series, and Igor, thank you very much.
Еще раз большое вам спасибо и желаю вам удачи в дальнейшем.
And now the Golden Jet, Bobby Hull of Canada. Bobby, congratulations on an outstanding performance. I know you've waited a long time to play in one of these. 2 goals and 1 assist. You've got to be thrilled.
I certainly am. I still have all the respect in the world for that Soviet team. They were terrific, although, you know, our team played so darn well tonight. We just had a little sag when we had our penalties. We had a couple of bad penalties, and that's where they won the game on us. But they're a game group of athletes. They're great skaters, and they play the game the way it should be played.
And Tretiak put on a fine show in the late going.
He certainly did. He's a great goaltender. He stands there. He challenges the shooter. As you saw when Frank walked in, I had it notched up. Frank doesn't very often miss, but Tretiak stayed with him and moved across the net with him and didn't give Frank any place to shoot when he went by him.
Bobby, did they do anything that surprised you from the preparation or watching videotape?
I saw them practice over there, and I saw them do everything well. They skate well, they move the puck well, and they're deadly on power plays, and we're just going to have to get fewer and fewer penalties.
And the answer, of course, I guess, is just skate, 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 and stay out of the penalty box.
You have to stay out of the penalty box, and you have to stay with them. You can't get caught in their end. If you notice, very seldom tonight did we get caught where our defensemen were just 3-on-2. We always had one guy at least coming back, and that's the way we had to play him.
Bobby, I want to say also, in addition to your 2 goals, I thought your passing was just superlative.
Oh, I think we'll get better. You know, everybody was so tight. I was so tight for the first 2 periods, I couldn't handle a puck. I went to get a pass over here in the first period, and it was just like so. And I think as the series goes, we'll loosen up, and we'll get in better condition, and I think we can play better.
Bobby, I've seen your curve stick. They have curve sticks with a bigger hook.
Oh, yes, they do. I was noticing that over there. I was just wondering if they were going to put any rules out to limit their curve, but they've got curves just as big as mine.
Bob, congratulations. Best of luck in Toronto.
Thank you very much.
Bobby Hull, the Golden Jet, as Canada plays to a 3-3 tie with the Soviet Union. Now back to Don Chevrier.
Well, if this is game 1, which it is, it was exciting. Imagine what the rest are going to be like the rest of the way. And game 2 goes on Thursday night in Toronto, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Check your listings. For now, Don Chevrier, good night from Quebec City.
1 of the Canada-Soviet Series. Live from Quebec City. Brought to you by Toronto Dominion Bank, the bank where people make the difference. By Gulf Oil Canada Limited, its dealers, agents, and distributors across Canada. By Carling O'Keefe, brewers of O'Keefe Ale and Old Vienna Lager Beer.